Hello and welcome to Big Dash Knows. Big Dash knows what? New York Giants football. Let's go. What if I told you? What if I told you that Joe Schoen really does not want Daniel Jones as his quarterback? What if I also told you that Joe Schoen does not want Saquon Barkley back as well? You would call me crazy, right? You would absolutely call me crazy. Tell me, what am I thinking about? What's wrong with you? Things like that. But let me tell you why I think like this. And again, please like, comment, and subscribe. Share it. Put your comments down below, because this is just a theory, a conspiracy in my head that I've had watching the last couple of interviews from Joe Schoen over the last couple of days. And it all started Tuesday morning when we got the news about Kenny Golladay being cut. Now, when Kenny Golladay news dropped, they said that it was going to be a March 15th cut. And I'm scratching my head because prior to that news, everybody, all Giants fans, social media, the sports media, everybody had Kenny Golladay pinned as a June 1st cut. Why? Because if you wait to June 1st, you save $13 million. With a March 15th cut, you save just under $7 million. So why would the New York Giants want to do that kind of move or make that kind of move? First thing I thought about was, you know what? The deal with Daniel Jones is probably not being worked out the way they thought it was going to work out. And now they're trying to make additional space within the cap just in case they actually have to use the tag. You still want to be able to make some moves in free agency. And one thing I said, you know what? If something else happens, like if Leonard Williams gets his pay cut and they have that finalized, and also if something like Dexter Lawrence gets his extension, they're trying to make extra space because the contract talks are falling through, and they're going to actually have to use the tag on Daniel Jones, but they also want to be able to sign some free agents in free agency. So that was Tuesday. And then also on Tuesday, Joe Schoen had the introduction GM meetings at the Combine. He had the live on Big Blue Kickoff Live. And a lot of the questions were about Daniel Jones. And he's talking about, we met with his representation. We're having good talks. We want Daniel Jones back as a New York Giants quarterback for the future. We're trying to get a deal done. If we can't get a deal done, there's tools in place that we can use, like the tag. Fine. My spidey senses weren't tingling yet. A little bit, but they weren't tingling. All right, so then that's fine. A lot of people are having their discussions. Twitter spaces are saying one thing, the other spaces are saying other things, and we're all talking about what Joe Schoen is saying. Everybody's either you're satisfied or people think he's lying. All right, and I'm sitting here and I'm waiting. And I'm like, something just doesn't seem right. It's taking a little bit too long, and then we're hearing all this positive talk, and it's very one-sided. Then, a couple days later, this would be today, you have an interview with Peter Schrager on was it Good Morning Football, and the talk is a little bit different. Now, when Joe Schoen was talking about Daniel Jones on Tuesday, it was positive. It seemed like this thing was going to work out. When he talked about Saquon Barkley, it seemed like, there's a line drawn in the sand, and more like if Saquon Barkley doesn't want this number, he's probably going to walk. So I'm already thinking like, okay, Joe Schoen did not pick up the 5th-year option for Daniel Jones because from the outside looking in, Daniel Jones did not look like he would be a feasible quarterback for the New York Giants' future. And then the season happens. Brian Daboll has a fantastic year where he becomes coach of the year. The New York Giants go to the playoffs. Not only go to the playoffs, but they also win a playoff game, get to the divisional round, and the rest is history. We already know what happened. Let's not talk about that. So now, you fast forward it to today with Peter Schrager, and already social media, Twitter is going everywhere. You're hearing, it doesn't look good for Saquon Barkley. He's probably going to hit free agency. And, we kind of figured that out. But now I'm thinking like, okay, when he spoke with Peter Schrager, and I put out a video earlier of a clip that Peter Schrager asked him a question about Daniel Jones. And then it went from, I'm looking at the language he was using, it went from, we want Daniel Jones back, can't wait to have him back, we're going to get this deal done, we're having positive talks, to, I hope we get a deal done. We've been in conversations, and we hope that a deal can get in place before March, and that's free agency. So now I'm thinking like, oh, wait a minute. A GM does not want to pretty much tie his career to a quarterback that's not his. Something happens, some good things happen with the Giants, but does that really change his thought process of what he thinks of Daniel Jones? You know, can Daniel Jones win you a couple games? Of course. I'm thinking like Joe Schoen possibly, but can he get you over the hump where you're actually competing for championships? And we don't know that yet, right? Well, some people have an idea either way, but for me, I'm thinking like, I don't really know that yet. So now I'm thinking, with the success that the Giants had, it's going to be very hard for you to move on from Daniel Jones and come out clean, unless you make it seem like Daniel Jones does not want to be a New York Giant. And how do you do that? By doing what Joe Schoen is doing right now. And again, this is just a conspiracy theory. I might be wrong. We might wake up in the morning and the deal's done. And Daniel Jones is a New York Giants quarterback, you know, for a few years. But I'm saying right now, today, that has not happened. And I'm just thinking about the diabolical mind of Joe Schoen and how he can make it seem like Daniel Jones doesn't come back, Saquon Barkley can't come back, but it's not my fault. Now just bear with me as I break this down a little bit. And it's not much. You guys see where I'm going. It's lining up. You see the chessboard. Things are lining up a little bit. So again, Joe Schoen, the only one talking. You don't hear from Daniel Jones or Daniel Jones's camp, but everything you're hearing right now as a Giants fan is from Joe Schoen. How he wants to get a deal done, how he's in constant talks with the team. And then also you're hearing reports of, and this is outside of Joe Schoen, it's not going well. This is from like people like Ian Rappaport, people like Adam Schefter. We're hearing that, you know, the two groups are apart in a number farther than people think. It doesn't look good. It looks like they're going to use the tag. And I said, oh my God, what if this is an actual play by Joe Schoen where he can actually clean up this whole thing with Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley and actually move or rebuild this team the way that he wants this team to be rebuilt. And again, I keep saying that this is just a theory. I don't know if I even believe it, but it's just something that I wanted to put out there and see what other people thought, you know, especially in Giants Nation. So now, what does this mean? If you can't get a deal done with Daniel Jones, that means Saquon Barkley hits the market, because now you have to use the tag on Daniel Jones. You're not going to use the tag on Saquon Barkley, because the bigger prize is your franchise quarterback. So now I'm thinking like, oh man, if this doesn't get done, Saquon Barkley is going to walk. And how long does a free Saquon Barkley last in the open market? Not very long, in my opinion. He might not get the same type of deal that the Giants were going to offer him as far as the years, but it's definitely going to be a team that snatches him up. And if the New York Giants aren't offering a better deal, Saquon Barkley walks. But to the people and to the fan base, especially the way that Joe Schoen is talking, it seems that, you know what, if Daniel Jones moved a little bit quicker, signed this contract, then Saquon Barkley would be on the roster. No problems. So now that's the first domino that falls, right? That's the first chess move. Okay, so now the fan base believes that Daniel Jones is the reason why Saquon Barkley is no longer a New York Giant. That's one. So now, if that happens, now you're just looking at the other domino, and that's going to be Daniel Jones actually being the quarterback. Now, if you use the tag on Daniel Jones and he doesn't sign it, that's just $32 million frozen. You can't participate in free agency with it. You also don't have a quarterback because he has not signed the tender, and I don't think he will sign that tender because they're trying to work out a deal. But here's the other thing. What if the deal never gets worked out? What if the numbers stay so far apart that nobody's happy? And then now you have an option of either trying to find a suitor for Daniel Jones where you trade him, or you rescind the tag, get that money back before it's too late in free agency to make any moves, any substantial moves, and Daniel Jones walks without you getting any compensation. And then, but it also looks like Daniel Jones is the reason why he's not the quarterback of the New York Giants. And now you go into the draft where everybody was looking for a wide receiver, everybody was looking for a cornerback, and now you're absolutely looking for a quarterback, and Joe Schoen has to find that quarterback for the New York Giants. And he doesn't get the blame for it at all. Everybody's going to be mad at Daniel Jones. And again, that's just a thought. I know it's kind of heavy. Maybe you don't want to think about it like that. But to me, I'm thinking like this thing is taking a lot longer than expected. It seemed pretty cut and dry whether you're going to tag him or not. But now I'm starting to think about, well, what was Joe Schoen's plan when he did not pick up the 5th-year option for Daniel Jones? And I said it in the video before, he was preparing himself for life without Daniel Jones. And even though we had a good season and we went to the playoffs and we had the coach of the year, what if that's not the vision that Joe Schoen had for the New York Giants? You have to think about things like that. And again, I might wake up in the morning and Daniel Jones might have signed a contract, and this is just a crazy guy talking on YouTube, which it still might be. But again, I just wanted to put this out there, something that people can think about, something that people can have conversations about, and go ahead and put that in the comments down below. But I want to thank you guys for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation. Let's go.